We know and love her for hosting Strictly Come Dancing alongside Tess Daly, which is sure to feel a little bit different this year when it returns to our screens next week.
But Claudia Winkleman has also been very busy writing her first ever book called Quite, where she tackles everything from dating advice to the secrets behind her iconic Fringe. And Claudia joins us now to tell us more. Morning!
Morning, Claudia!
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sad that I'm not there. You've got Angela Hartnett, you've got cocktails, and you've got conversation about hair.
I know, we are missing you.
Precisely, yeah, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to have guests back inside. I just put my head inside your publishers at the moment, and what they must think when you actually sell this book and you come out and talk about it, because you said it's a stream of nonsense. I've got nothing interesting to say. Now, we're going to do your publicity for you and say, actually, I disagree with that. This is a really funny book.
They are completely livid with me. Number one, so we go into lockdown, and I sort of missed work, and I thought I'd write something important or something about a woman on a hill having to make a decision, and I didn't do that. So I told them, whatever you do, don't publish it. And then they were very kind, and they did, I assume because my parents persuaded them to. And then ever since then I've had to go out and say it's okay, and I've told everybody, whatever you do, don't read it. So yeah, they're not returning my calls. So thank you very much for having me on.
We can say on your behalf, however, do go out and get it and do read it, because it is brilliant and it is funny and it's witty and it's all those things that we absolutely love and adore about you. And also, you are a writer because you've written columns and things, so you are a very good writer.
Well, let's not exaggerate. I mean, I love you, Holly, and also can I just say I'm in love with your top, and it's good I'm not. Otherwise I would steal it. So not in a bad way. I used to write columns, so I think this book is more like a collection of columns or a collection of essays where I was just giving it a go, and I enjoyed it. But as I say, I really thought something better was going to come out, and instead it's quite a lot about melted cheese, pirate boots, how you can't go out with a boy who can't get you both in a cab or in a bus with some vim and vigour. And I was just like, oh, how disappointing. I'm sorry, guys. 7,000 words on Sports Day.
You have actually said, though, that it's your Fringe that got you the job.
Yes, it is all down to this heavy, weird curtain of hair. I'm sure that's why I work, because I imagine that when producers are together and they're going, who shall we get? They could just go, the orange one with the fringe. I'm not in a bad way. I don't even mean it in a bad. It's not. I'm not being sort of. There's nothing worse than faux self-deprecating and sort of hideousness. But I think that's the deal.
Can you always see properly underneath it?
No. Good point. Can't see a thing, which is why I love. No, but I was always minus 15, so could never see anything. Then I my eyes, and so people go, but how can you see? How can you get about? And I was like, well, I don't know. And if it was up to me, I mean, by the time I'm 70, it will be down to there. Lucy Hine, the coolest girl in the world, and she had a fringe down to there, and she actually had to part it like a blind to answer a question. She was like, sure, I'll go to floor 3. I was like, that's what we're after.
That's where I'm headed. You love a nap as well. You're like, I love a nap. It's one of my favourite things in the world. And actually, there's a bit of science behind this, because this was advice that your mum was given.
Yes. So I was little, about 11, and my mum was a journalist. So often you find yourself sitting, you go for lunch, and she happened to sit next to a brilliant brain surgeon. And they had a great chat about funding for the NHS and all of these things. And as he left, he went, oh, by the way, have you got kids? And she went, yeah, I've got 2. And he went, never, ever ask them to get out of bed. I mean, obviously for school, but otherwise, when we sleep, we heal ourselves. It's good for our brains. It's good for our little souls. It's good for everything. And so everything changed from that day. She came home, and she was the only mum who never said, come on, sleepy heads, you're wasting the day, up you get. We used to have Sunday lunch at 4 p.m. so that me and my brother could just sort of snooze in bed. I'm going to have a nap after this. I'm going to watch all of your show, obviously, and then I'm going to have a little lunch.
You call it, your friends call it your meeting. We'll give you a call after the meeting.
Yeah, and I'll have a nap at Strictly. And they call it a meeting, because I used to be slightly embarrassed about it. But now I'm 48, I'm allowed to nap. But when I was 26 and I was like literally going to sleep. And when I worked in an office, I would just, it's a bit like, with your computer, you just shut it down. I would just sort of go into a little, like a small orange mushroom. And I enjoyed it.
I think all books need on the back of them, you know, that's the sort of responses, people who've read the book and they give their critique. And I don't know, you haven't put them on your book. It's inside, but it's from your children. And this is Matilda.
Fantastic.
Her reaction to the fact that you were writing a book. She's 14. A book. You've got 17-year-old Jake. He said, "Seriously, Mum, who's going to read this?" And 8-year-old Arthur said, "Can I highly recommend a David Walliams book instead?"
Yeah. Another reason why my publishers hate me. I just thought, you know, when you buy a book and it's incredibly lovely that people do and it feels like a commitment. So, Philip, you've got a book. We should be discussing your book.
No, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. Let's talk about yours.
Anyway, I thought if anybody sees that, they're going to sort of know what they get. It's a bit like at the back. Also, there's normally an author's photograph where you're looking all like, oh, whatever. I'll make this bigger, thinner, whatever, do your work, more orange. And instead I've got a picture of a baby goat. I just thought, if you were in a bookshop, because it's just more enjoyable, then if you saw both of those things, you're not going to be highly disappointed when you take it home and go, oh my God, she's written 4,000 words about why you can't sleep with a man who buys you something attached to a plug. You know?
It's great advice.
Strictly's coming back. We should talk about
Oh, I
Strictly.
cannot wait.
We're watching really closely here because obviously we've got Dancing on Ice coming up towards the end of the year. So we're watching to see how you guys do it, to see, you know, what it feels
How
like
it
with this new world.
I think what I would say, I mean, we're so excited. The dancers are brilliant. The judges are fantastic. The whole production team are amazing, like Dancing on Ice. And the lineup's wonderful. I hope people come with us along for the ride, because I think it might look different, not in a bad way, but we will be socially distanced. And there will be, depending on the government guidelines, either no audience or very small audience. So just fingers crossed, people come with us and we're just going to try our hardest.
Oh,
I just can't wait for it to be back. I just cannot wait to have it back in our lives. So, you know, whatever form it takes, we'll be there. Claudia, thank you.
Just love talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Love, life and eyeliner. Claudia Winkleman's book is called Quite, which is her favourite word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye now.